Most people think danger means violence, chaos, noise, and aggression. That belief keeps them harmless, predictable, readable, and permanently underestimated. A dangerous aura is quieter, slower, and far more controlled. It does not shout intentions or explain itself for comfort. It creates pressure by refusing to relieve other people's uncertainty. Humans are wired to relax around what they fully understand. They tense up around what feels unreadable, delayed, and withheld. That tension is where authority quietly begins forming. The hook most people miss is this psychological inversion. Being safe feels moral, but safety trains others to ignore you. You signal low threat, low consequence, and unlimited access to yourself. The mind categorizes you as manageable, useful, and non-essential. Dangerous presence flips that category without raising your voice. It suggests boundaries exist, consequences follow, and patience runs thin. This is not about cruelty, intimidation, or reckless domination. It is about disciplined restraint paired with absolute self-certainty. People feel danger when they cannot predict your emotional responses. Predictability lowers status because it removes the need for caution. When others feel no caution, they feel no respect. Respect emerges when attention is required to avoid missteps. Most people over-explain to appear honest, cooperative, and emotionally safe. Over-explanation leaks motives, fears, priorities, and internal bargaining. Listeners unconsciously map these leaks and adjust their behavior accordingly. A dangerous aura withholds just enough to disrupt that mapping. Silence becomes a surface others project assumptions onto. Some assume strength, others assume threat, few assume weakness. That ambiguity forces caution, slowing actions taken against you. The cost of this restraint is immediate social discomfort. People may label you distant, cold, or difficult to read. Many retreat here, trading leverage for belonging and relief. The dangerous individual tolerates misinterpretation without rushing to correct it. This tolerance signals internal stability and unspoken confidence. Confidence felt, not declared, carries significantly more psychological weight. Declared confidence invites testing from those seeking hierarchy shifts. Felt confidence discourages testing because outcomes feel uncertain. This is where the aura begins influencing rooms silently. You arrive, speak less, observe more, and delay reactions. Others unconsciously adjust posture, tone, and timing around you. They are responding to perceived consequence, not explicit threat. Consequence is psychological, built from uncertainty and past restraint. You have felt this dynamic when someone entered and changed energy. Nothing obvious happened, yet behavior subtly reorganized itself. That person carried danger without hostility or performance. This aura is built deliberately, not inherited or accidental. It starts by removing the need to be understood. Understanding feels good, but it collapses mystery and leverage. Leverage grows when others must infer, not receive, your intentions. This requires emotional discipline most people never train. Training begins by noticing impulses to explain, justify, or soften. Each resisted impulse strengthens your internal frame and external gravity. Gravity is felt presence pulling attention without demanding compliance. Over time, this presence becomes associated with consequence. People think twice, speak slower, and choose words carefully. They are not afraid of you, but aware. Awareness is the soil where respect and caution coexist. This aura cannot be faked, rushed, or borrowed temporarily. It emerges from repeated choices favoring restraint over relief. This process feels lonely because validation is delayed and inconsistent. Loneliness tests commitment and reveals who relies on external reassurance. Those who persist develop an internal reference point for behavior. That reference point stabilizes reactions during pressure, conflict, and silence. Stability under pressure is repeatedly interpreted as latent power. Latent power unsettles environments built on emotional predictability. The realization is that danger begins with disciplined self-control. Next comes learning exactly where restraint must be applied. Most people lose dangerous presence through uncontrolled emotional disclosure. They react quickly to fill silence, smooth tension, and restore familiarity. This reaction feels cooperative but signals psychological availability. Availability reduces perceived consequence and invites casual disrespect. The mechanism underneath is emotional self-regulation failure. When pressure appears, the nervous system seeks immediate discharge. Words, explanations, and smiles become release valves. Relief follows briefly, but leverage quietly drains away. Others register that pressure makes you predictable. Predictability teaches them how to manage you effortlessly. A dangerous aura depends on delayed emotional expression. Delay forces others to sit with their own interpretations. Interpretations are shaped by fear, caution, and uncertainty. Uncertainty slows behavior and increases perceived stakes. This is why silence often feels heavier than confrontation. The mind hates unresolved signals more than explicit rejection. Most believe clarity builds trust and strengthens relationships. Psychology shows clarity too early weakens position. Early clarity removes ambiguity, reducing others' need for caution. Caution is the foundation of respect under competitive conditions. You see this pattern in meetings, negotiations, and conflicts. The person who reacts first usually yields psychological ground. They anchor the emotional frame while others observe safely. The dangerous individual lets the frame remain unclaimed longer. This creates a subtle imbalance favoring restraint. Restraint is interpreted as confidence or concealed intent. Both interpretations elevate perceived power. Power grows when outcomes feel unpredictable yet controlled. Control is communicated through pacing, not dominance. Pacing includes slower speech, measured responses, and selective engagement. Selective engagement frustrates those seeking emotional access. Frustration often turns into deference or distance. Both outcomes preserve leverage. The loss here is comfort and immediate approval. People accustomed to easy access may feel unsettled. They may test boundaries through jokes, probing, or escalation. These tests reveal who respects strength versus compliance. Passing these tests requires consistent emotional discipline. Inconsistency collapses the aura faster than openness. One reactive moment can undo weeks of restraint. This is why dangerous presence is rare. It demands continuous self-monitoring under social pressure. Self-monitoring without anxiety requires internalized authority. Authority begins when self-worth stops, depending on responses. Depending on responses makes you chase emotional equilibrium externally. External chasing hands control to the environment. The dangerous individual regulates internally, then responds intentionally. Intentional responses feel heavier because they are chosen. Choice implies options, and options imply power. You have experienced this around people who never rush answers. Their pauses feel deliberate, not confused. Those pauses shift conversational gravity toward them. Gravity makes others explain themselves instead. Explanation reverses roles, placing you in evaluation position. Evaluation signals hierarchy without declaration. This hierarchy forms quietly through repeated interactions. People adapt behavior to avoid misjudgment. Avoidance creates space, and space creates authority. Authority without noise feels unsettling but undeniable. The realization is emotional restraint converts discomfort into leverage. The next step is learning when restraint must break deliberately. Dangerous aura collapses when restraint becomes avoidance instead of control. Some mistake silence for power and withdraw from necessary engagement. Withdrawal signals fear, not discipline, and invites probing behavior. The psychological mechanism here is misaligned self-protection. True danger balances restraint with precise, intentional intervention. Intervention reminds others that silence is a choice, not paralysis. When you never intervene, uncertainty turns into dismissal. Dismissal costs influence and erodes long-term authority. The dangerous individual chooses moments carefully, not frequently. Timing matters more than volume, emotion, or rhetorical force. A single, well-placed response outweighs repeated emotional reactions. This is why brief statements often carry disproportionate impact. They feel final, grounded, and non-negotiable. Non-negotiable communication signals internal certainty. Certainty reduces others' willingness to challenge or escalate. Most people speak to manage perceptions continuously. Managing perceptions exposes dependency on others' approval. Approval seeking creates invisible leverage against you. Others sense it and exploit it unconsciously. Dangerous presence removes the need to be liked consistently. Liking becomes optional. Respect becomes primary. This shift feels risky because social rejection threatens identity. Identity built on approval feels stable until pressure arrives. Under pressure, that identity fractures into explanations and appeasement. The dangerous identity is built on internal alignment instead. Alignment means words, posture, and timing reflect one reference point. That reference point does not move to accommodate discomfort. People notice when your internal axis stays fixed. Fixed axes create contrast against reactive environments. Contrast draws attention without demanding it. Attention paired with restraint becomes influence. Influence grows when others adjust before you speak. This adjustment is often subtle and easy to miss. Conversations slow, tones soften, and challenges become indirect. These changes signal recalibration around perceived consequence. Consequence does not require threats or dominance displays. It requires consistency in how boundaries are enforced. Boundaries enforced emotionally lose credibility quickly. Boundaries enforced calmly feel absolute. Calm enforcement unsettles because it removes negotiation cues. Most people negotiate through emotional escalation. When escalation fails, they reassess their position. Reassessment often leads to compliance or disengagement. Both preserve your leverage without overt conflict. This approach costs immediate emotional satisfaction. You will not feel victorious in the moment. Victory is delayed, appearing later as changed behavior. Delayed rewards require long-term orientation. Short-term thinkers abandon restraint for relief. Relief feels productive but erodes accumulated authority. Authority compounds when restraint is paired with selective firmness. Firmness must be rare to retain impact. Frequent firmness becomes noise and invites resistance. Rare firmness feels decisive and irreversible. Irreversibility is interpreted as strength. Strength here is psychological, not physical or verbal. You have seen individuals whose single comment resets dynamics. They do not argue, persuade, or justify extensively. Their words land because silence prepared the ground. Preparation is invisible but deeply felt. This is why dangerous aura develops over time. It cannot be switched on during conflict. It must exist before pressure appears. Existing beforehand allows pressure to reveal, not create, power. The realization is danger requires balance between silence and action. Next comes understanding how this balance reshapes identity permanently. A dangerous aura ultimately reshapes how you see yourself. It removes comforting stories about being misunderstood or overlooked. It replaces them with responsibility for every reaction you allow. This shift feels uncomfortable because it eliminates excuses. You cannot blame tone, environment, or other people anymore. Your presence becomes a direct reflection of internal discipline. Psychologically, this is identity consolidation under pressure. Your behavior aligns across settings because the reference stays internal. Internal references stabilize self-image during uncertainty. Stability is interpreted by others as quiet authority. Authority changes how opportunities, conflicts, and boundaries appear. People hesitate before crossing lines you never announce. Hesitation is leverage created without confrontation. This leverage costs constant awareness of your impulses. Impulses to explain, react, defend, or soften must be managed. Managing impulses feels like effort initially. Over time, it becomes your default operating system. This operating system filters situations before emotions leak outward. Leakage is where most people lose respect unintentionally. They signal fragility through urgency and emotional overflow. You have recognized this pattern in your own behavior. Moments where speaking felt necessary but later felt costly. The cost was not the words themselves. The cost was revealing internal instability under pressure. Dangerous presence communicates the opposite signal consistently. It says pressure does not move my center. This signal invites respect, distance, or careful engagement. Each outcome protects your position in different ways. Some relationships will fade as access becomes restricted. Others will deepen through mutual respect and recalibrated boundaries. Loss here is social ease and immediate validation. Gain is long-term influence and psychological safety. Psychological safety comes from knowing you control your responses. Control reduces anxiety because outcomes feel less chaotic. Calm becomes your baseline rather than a temporary state. From this baseline, decisions carry more weight. Weight is felt when actions are rare and deliberate. Deliberateness reframes how others interpret your silence. Silence stops being absence and becomes presence. Presence fills rooms without demanding attention. This is the aura people describe but cannot explain. They feel it before understanding it. Understanding arrives later, after patterns repeat. Patterns teach others how to approach you cautiously. Caution is not fear, but respect for consequence. Consequence emerges when boundaries are enforced without emotion. Emotion invites negotiation, calm ends it. Ending negotiation reshapes power dynamics subtly. You stop proving worth and start embodying it. Embodiment feels heavier than performance. Performance seeks approval. Embodiment assumes value. Assumed value discourages testing from opportunistic personalities. They sense no reward in pushing boundaries. This protects energy, focus, and long-term goals. Goals become clearer when noise reduces. Reduced noise exposes uncomfortable truths about responsibility. You see where your reactions created past outcomes. This recognition removes resentment and replaces it with agency. Agency is the core of dangerous presence. Without agency, restraint becomes suppression and collapses. With agency, restraint becomes choice and compounds. Compounding presence changes how life responds to you. Not dramatically, but consistently and measurably. You are treated with more care, fewer assumptions, and clearer boundaries. This is not because you demanded it. It is because you stopped leaking power. The quiet realization is danger begins with owning your reactions fully. From here, every interaction becomes a deliberate decision forward. If this challenged how you see yourself, let it stay. If it felt familiar, you are already practicing restraint. Support the work by liking the video calmly. Continue refining your presence by watching the next piece.